Hello, I wanted to talk to you about the changing face of education. The education in the industrial age took a traditional approach. It was designed to produce a few managers and a lot of workers. The managers needed to be quite competent. The workers simply needed minimal competence. This worked very well when you had one manager for a factory and a number of workers that became skilled in their own particular areas. Today, however, we are entering the knowledge age, and just a few people that can deal with knowledge the way that managers used to be able to deal with it is not enough. We need a lot of people in our society that are capable of taking a number of ideas, putting them together, and producing new knowledge, adding value to what they're learning. This requires a reforming kind of classroom. The industrial classroom was designed basically to only produce the few. We need to turn that on its head and produce the many that are capable of working with knowledge. So what is the role of technology in this classroom? One way to think about this is to think about what teachers have been doing with task goals. Traditionally, teachers have behaved as though they believed that assigning a task, a project, essay, homework, etc., will produce new learning when completed by the students. Technology that primarily helps you complete school tasks also has this design assumption. And we can summarize that assumption in the phrase, the teacher generates tasks which generate student learning. That is the belief. And technology that supports that traditional approach helps students complete tasks. In contrast, let's think about learning goals. A reform agenda assumes that if students set a learning goal, to understand, investigate, discover, etc., tasks will emerge that must be completed to achieve the learning goals. Technology that primarily helps students achieve their learning goals has this design assumption. And we can state this rather generally and simply as students generate learning goals which generate tasks. Designing for tasks or designing for learning goals becomes a very important consideration for teachers. If you're designing for tasks, you are primarily designing for a traditional approach to education. And it should probably go with that package of traditional elements that we talked about earlier. If you're designing for learning goals, and these goals are student learning goals, then you're really using the technology to support the reforming classroom. And the technology needs to behave in ways that help students achieve their learning goals.